Good afternoon, folks. This is Fred Campos, owner of DFW Website Designers. This is episode number 406 on this Tuesday, June the 7th, 2022. And this is your 3 business tips at 3 o'clock in and around 3 minutes. Small business owners, solopreneurs, if you're just joining in, we are now talking about how to get to page 1 on Google. As a web designer, this is probably the first or second most often question is how do I get my website, my article, my blog onto page 1 of Google? Today we're in episode number 3. We're going to talk about titles through keywords, H1 and H2s, and image tags. We're going to get into the semantics of the things you need to do. I've been sharing about 20 points in this week's series, and today we're going to talk about titles. Titles are key. Matter of fact, you should spend almost as much time on the titles as you do writing the page or post that you want to index. And there's a great tool called Headline Analyzer, which you can Google, and it really helps you write good titles. It gives you a score. The higher the score, the more likely that Google's going to like it. So, business tip number 1 is that you should have keywords, searchable keywords in your title. So if I want to get found under the keyword of website designers, then I should say great website designer tips or everything you should tell your website designers. The keywords need to be part of the title that you're trying to index. It's very, very important that you have keywords and determine what keywords are ahead of time. In fact, in the case of building an SEO page or blog that's getting searched, you should do your keyword searching first, figure out what phrases you want before you even begin to make the page or come up with the title or the content. Business tip number 2 is that there's something called H1 and H2 tags. And what they are is an H1 is the title. And when you do the HTML code, or whether you're using WordPress or other things, you only are allowed one H1 title. The title should be the biggest on the page. It should have little brackets of H1, and you should only have one of them on the page. In addition to that, in the contents, which we talked about yesterday, of your article, let's say you have 5 or 6 paragraphs, you're going to break them up with other subheadings or subtitles, and they're called H2. In the H2 subtitles, you should also use the keywords that you're trying to see. Business tip number 3 is that you should have images, we talked about it before, in your blog post or article, but very specifically those images not only need to be named, which we talked about previously, but they need to have meta tags through alt or title that also name the keywords. Again, what Google is looking for is 3 or 4 things that match on the page that have the same keyword. And one of the ways you can do that, of course, is through titles, through H1 and H2s, and through image tags. That's what I'm learning today. Anything I learn, I throw over the fence to you because I want you guys to be awesome and get found online. Now go back to sleep.